Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foul Ball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well. I'm doing okay. I'm in kind of a weird situation. Thank you guys for checking me out. I appreciate your patience over the past week when I wasn't around. And shouts to the boys who held it down in the cocktail lounge the other night, and Vidge, and Jake, and Thoth, and Draco, and everyone who popped in and rocked it, and everyone who watched. So as you guys know, I just moved to Austin, Texas. This is my home. You're seeing the inside of my new castle here in Austin, and it was a whole ordeal. You know, I picked up all my stuff, loaded it into a truck. You know, got in my car, drove out. 2 days of driving, 12 hours each day, and I finally got here. When I got here, sadly came to learn that all of my stuff in the truck wasn't going to get here the date we scheduled it. It was supposed to be Friday, this past Friday. The 2nd, supposed to all get there. Talk to them. Well, it's not going to be the 2nd. It might not be for another 2 weeks, maybe. So I am in my place with next to nothing. That's why I'm coming to you on this computer. This old Chromebook of mine, because it's the only computer that I have. This is it. And I had to buy a new microphone. I hope it sounds good. So I'm in a tight spot. But I couldn't stay away for too long, guys, because I missed it. I missed streaming. I missed you guys. I missed the whole experience of being out there. So thanks for hanging in. Thanks for joining me today. And I don't know. It's going to be like this for a little while. I don't know. I hope it's not too bad. Jake D is here. Hello, Jake D. Says I sound all right. Well, that's good. It's a brand new Audio Technica mic. I don't know. I just had to buy something. To get this off the ground. Hi, Mary G. Good to see you, Mary G. Mary G is a wonderful lady. Good to see you. Godzillionaire is here. Hello, Godzillionaire. Yeah, I miss everybody. I miss all the dogs. Miss the dogs. But here I am. Here I am in Austin, Texas. And looks like I missed some stuff this week. Not too much. I have been watching that show Invincible on Amazon. I don't know if you guys have seen any of that, but I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Because here's the thing. Like, I think it's really good. I think it's a good show. I think it's fun. It kind of has like a little bit of Godzilla. I'm in Texas now. I gotta sound all right. Yeah. I don't do a great McConaughey. My buddy does, though. My buddy from back in LA did the best McConaughey. Yeah, this whole hand movements and shit. It was amazing. Godzillionaire said he binged Invincible last night. Yeah, I binged it the first day, and I just finished the second episode, or the most recent episode the other day. And like, I really like it. Grinakuma's here. What's up, cum face? Just kidding. Love you, bro. Good to see you, Grinakuma. Good to see you, brother. I was just saying that all my stuff is on a truck somewhere between Austin and Los Angeles. So that's why I'm on this crummy Chromebook. So I hope this is acceptable to you guys, because it is what it is. But I liked the show. I thought it was good. I like the fact that it was kind of had like elements of what The Boys was, where it was showing superheroes as imperfect. It's not nearly as gritty, but there's some badass moments. There's some badass things in that show. Sentient Dildo's here. What's up, Sentient Dildo? Good to see you, brother. What's up, nerds? Good to see you, my friend. And Brightest Day is here. Hail, Brightest Day. Good to see you, Brightest Day. Brightest Day has a channel. He has a job. If you like watching models being built, if you like, what was I watching? Maybe was it a Gundam? It was something like that. If you like models, go watch Brightest Day. Go give Brightest Day a sub, because he's a good guy to follow if you like building models. Mike Beat. Hail, Mike Beat. Hello, sir. Hello. Yeah, but to Invincible, there's some really cool stuff going on in that show. Like, I really like the world building. I like the fact that it feels like a comic book universe, that there's just constantly these like big crimes, like heists and stuff. And, aliens just bursting through portals to invade Earth. And you need like a cadre of superheroes to stop them. I really enjoy that. I think it's fun. It feels like it actually exists in a comic book. Conversely, though, there's a lot of feelings in super suits, which is sort of weird. Like there's many scenes where the characters are really just talking about how they feel about each other. And it's like, the show grinds to a halt when they do that. And it's like, no, like there's so much cool stuff going on here. Like the aliens that like lost the battle because they aged, because they come from a different time spectrum or whatever, that was a great idea. That was really fun. But then it's like, you have to hear Invincible's new girlfriend like talking about like her feelings about them dating. And you're like, I mean, maybe if this was accomplishing something else, like maybe if this was also happening and moving the plot, but the major story grinds to a halt during those scenes. And it's like, what is that about? Yes. Did you? Yes, Godzillionaire. And he goes, I did nearly turn off Invincible after that Tanashi Coates reference. Yeah, dude, that was rough. Of all the people to bring up, that was a real rough one, dude. And they try to make it virtuous, like she's cool, she's into someone like that, and she's like she's into fourth wave feminism and all this, and you're like, oh man, is this gonna start? Is this happening now? Are we gonna get this? But I don't know. They're kind of doing a two-step with the woke stuff. They're kind of like touching on it a little bit. Like it exists somewhere in the show, but then the show itself is compelling and interesting. So I don't know where we're going to go. Honestly, if like, I'm not talking any emotion. I'm talking about betting. If we're just going to lay money on, does this go woke? I would have put my money on black. I'd say 100% it's going to go woke, because these shows have a track record of doing this. This one does feel different, but if I'm just going by history, if I'm just going by what has been out in the past, when there's like a back and forth and inconsistency, maybe it's woke, maybe it isn't, it almost always goes woke. So I'm optimistic because I am enjoying this a lot. I think it's like really fun. And I really am enjoying turning it on. I'm not just turning it on to like cover it for you guys. Like I'm having a blast watching it. But like there's a part of me that like, oh, that was really nice. Oh, Jake D gave me a $50 super chat through Stream Elements. Said, little cheddar brother, I know your week hasn't been super great. Thanks, Jake. That's really nice, man. It has been kind of tough, to be completely honest. I'm holding it together. I'm like keeping it, I'm doing everything I can to just make this work. But like when you realize every single thing you own is on a truck somewhere in the middle of the country and you don't know when it's going to get here, it's a little disconcerting, man. It's a lot disconcerting. So Jake, I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much, man. It's very, very cool of you. Yeah. The Wake Down, Hail Foul Ball Productions. I'm just hopping in the stream. Hope I didn't miss too much. Nope, not too much. Just the explanation as to why I have this terrible setup now. I'm on my Chromebook. It's because everything's on a truck somewhere in the middle of the country, which we'll get to Austin eventually is about as good as I've heard thus far. Where are we here? So much chat. You guys are burning it up. Hello, the Islington girl. Good to see you. Good to see some of the regulars. That's wonderful. But yeah, back to Invincible. There's some cool shit, but there's things you got to look out for, right? Like Seth Rogen shows up in it. He plays that guy, Alan the alien, who's in the, who Invincible meets on the moon. And he explains that, they're on the wrong planet. It was funny. It worked. It was an interesting comic book scene moment. I had fun with it. But Seth Rogen, I don't know about that, because he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that aggressively attacks fans and doesn't, is very divisive and doesn't like, disagreeing of thought. He's the type of guy who makes propaganda in his entertainment. Just him showing up, I don't know. So far, like I said, it seems like they're doing this two-step. It seems like they're getting like this really interesting story out there. And then every once in a while, like a little bubble kind of comes up of something where I'm like, I don't know that I like that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Another thing, just as a critique of the show overall, is it kind of like introduces probably more than it can handle right now. Like, not to say that the writers can't handle it. It's just to say that where they are at the moment, like the ending of the last episode, I'm not going to spoil it, but like what happened, the way it ends, you're just like, well, who the fuck is this? What is this now? And it's like, that's kind of a lot. Like they're throwing a lot at you and they're not giving you any answers. And I wonder if it's what Gary calls the magic box or whatever. Like, I wonder if maybe we're just going to get like a lot of flash, a lot of like weird plot lines that don't necessarily pay off. And by the time it like settles, it's kind of blown. So I don't know. We'll see. Green Akuma with a $20 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. For my man, I was taught that a poor man gives from the little he has. The rich often not from the much. Why, thank you, sir. Why, thank you. That means a lot. You guys are really cool. I'm glad I missed you guys. I really genuinely missed everybody, and I missed doing this. And it was like, it's a bummer. It sucked to I had to do it. I was on the road, you know what I mean? Like Wednesday during Cultural Crime Fires, I was like in the car doing 90, getting out here. So it wasn't like I had the time, but authentically, man, I missed everybody. I wanted to stream. It sucked I couldn't get to. So I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The Islington girl with a $3 super sticker. I have to go back to the live stream to see what it is. And bear with me. This Chromebook is not the pinnacle of technology. It wasn't even the pinnacle of technology when I bought it. And that was a little while ago. Oh, boy. No, man. I hope I don't destroy the computer. It's sort of freezing up on me a little bit. I just see sentient dildo. I can sum up what I feel about you in one emoji. Love you, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, the Islington girl, thank you very much for the $3 super sticker. I can't seem to get back to it in any kind of expedient manner. Anyway, it's not going to stop this stream to a halt because everything is so slow and crummy. I hope I'm not lagging on the stream. I have no idea. Thank you. Oh, it's the little lemon guy giving a thumbs up. Well, thank you, the Islington girl. Very much appreciated. It's great to see you. Great to see you as always. Islington girl is a rock star. Super. I want to say fan. Fan seems a little condescending. I mean fan, like super friend on this in this little weird community here. Hello, Rajesh Taylor. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Just another red shirt is here. Hello, my good man. Welcome to Texas. Thank you very much. So far, be better if I had all my shit, but overall, pretty nice. I think, I don't know. I think it's going to be cool here in Texas. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I like it a lot. It's, I don't know. It's different. And that's pretty cool. I drove through Fredericksburg. Oh, I got another $5 super chat. I'm trying to. This computer is not built for switching tabs at all. And the super chat is in PayPal, so it's someone's real name, and I don't want to dox them. But it's $5. Thank you very much, RS. I don't know. Wait, did it come up? Oh, my heavens. I apologize, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. This is not ideal. I might be buying another Chromebook or laptop or something like that to deal with this. He didn't say anything. Just $5 from Manolo Rivera. Well, thank you very much, Manolo. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah. Manolo, perfect, says the Jar Jar mystery box. I don't think that's what's going on here, but I'm wondering if there's a reason to be concerned because of how much is being thrown at us, right? Like they're introducing a lot of different storylines. There's lots of different things. there's some weirdness with the writing on occasion. I don't want to call it ineptitude, but at times I'm like, what was that? Like, for instance, in the beginning, this isn't a spoiler, but they're like, Invincible hasn't got his powers yet. And he's like, God, gee willikers, shucks, golly gosh, I haven't gotten them. That's unfortunate. And then like a scene later, he gets them. I'm like, why even establish? Why even have that? Why even write that? Why not just start it with he just got his powers? Like, we didn't get to watch him like live his life without having his powers. It wasn't like there was an arc there and he finally got them. It was like he basically was like, oh, I wish I had them. All right, I got them. It's like, what? It's like, I mean, okay. I don't know. It's like, why would you make us sit through that then? I don't know. A little strange. Little stuff like that kind of just throws me off. Where I'm like, that's just inept writing. Like, there's no reason for that. That's not like a tonal thing or a taste thing. It's like you put something in there, you paid it off immediately. That's not great. So where's that coming from? But then there is so much stuff that's really good. So I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm of two minds. I'm gonna go back here in the chat a little bit and see what you wonderful people are saying. Grin Akuma and Sentient Dildo are doing their comedy routine in the chat. Always a blast, always fun. 3-putt bogey. Love the Rex character. Refresh my memory. Which one's Rex? Oh, yes, that's the kid, the explodey kid. Yeah. I know who you mean. Yeah, I like that. I like their whole dynamic. There was some weird stuff, just stuff that kind of threw me off, where I was just like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's a criticism, but it's just one of these things where I'm like, well, okay, that's a little biased. Like, they make the AI guy build a new super team, and he picks like half of his own team. It's like, seems a little biased. You pick all your own guys. But I don't know. Like, I don't want to pass any judgment on this shit, right? Not yet. Like, I want to give it time because I do think it's interesting. I really do. I do think it's a good show. I just also need, like everything else, man, you got to stay vigilant. You got to keep your eyes open and see what's coming down because, I mean, I don't want to get swindled. I don't want to participate in their social ambitions to re-engineer the world. I'm not interested in that. I don't want to be a part of it. And I resent it. And I resent the implications, and it's bad. I think it's very bad for the future. So I'm always kind of trying to keep an eye on it. Sometimes to my own detriment. We talk about that. You jump at shadows a little bit, but I'd rather be on to them and maybe have a little less enjoyment than like them pull an okie doke on me and switch it around at the last second. And another thing that I enjoyed turned out to be something garbage, right? I don't know. Thank you. Oh, that was okay. Thank you. The wait down. Here's hoping it hurries. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. The Islington girl says, I wish you had a better time so far. At least it looks like you got into your place. Yeah, I'm into the place. Everything seems great there. Luke, the cat, my cat, he's taken his time to develop, to slip in. He hasn't quite, he's not quite comfortable here yet. He's chilling, but yeah, everything else seems pretty good. My roommate is cool with me streaming in the living room now for 2 hours. So he seems like a pretty cool guy. Sentient Dildo, Seth. Yeah, he shows up and I'm like, I don't know about that, man. It's weird, right? Because that guy is so, well, he says he is. He's so into comic book stuff, right? Because he got Preacher across. He was a big part of The Boys. He's into this show. But he's like so into agenda too. Like he's so into pushing forth, the woke stuff and also like attacking fans and really getting into it. And he used to be so fun and funny. Some people, man, they really get in deep. Like I was thinking about Trevor Noah. Like when I first learned about Trevor Noah, I was like, this guy's hilarious. And like, what an interesting story. Like I thought he was a tad preachy, but ultimately I thought he was a funny and interesting guy. And, people talk very highly of him inside the entertainment industry, but it's like now, I mean, I think that guy's like the enemy. He's not funny and he's a comedian. I mean this, like, I don't mean this, like, I don't find him funny. I mean, like, he doesn't make jokes. Like he only says points that you would agree with snarkily. That's not a joke. That's just you being like, we all get this, right? It's called clapter. We're all on the same team. Like, that's not, you're not a comedian, man. Like, you're a cheerleader for a cause. It's like, how does that happen? How do you go from being funny and interesting and insightful to like a mouthpiece of some agenda? Like, I don't understand how that happens. I really don't. Oh, here we go. Finding once again, exploring the limits of my of this Chromebook. Draco Argentus is here. Hello, Draco. Hail, Draco Argentus. I saw that Draco made a little stop in the other night in the cocktail lounge. It was wonderful to see him. And really, thank you so much for everyone who showed up to that show and everyone who, like, all the panel who held it down while I couldn't be there. It was great to see that it was still going. Everyone was still happy to see it. Ascension Dildo, he's speaking truth to power, man. I saw Biden tweet that one time. We need to speak truth to power. I couldn't believe that that didn't destroy his chances. You're like 80, dude. Oh, speaking truth to power. It was also just like so condescending. It's so clearly nothing he would ever think to say or utilize, but he just threw it in there because, like, you know, it's what the kids say. It's what the kids like. Ugh, yuck. Oh, good call. Good call, Mary G. If you want to watch comedy that's not woke, rewatch Scrubs on Amazon. So good. Nothing is PC. That honestly is one of those shows that I really have a very sweet spot for, a soft spot for, because, well, I think when I first watched it, I didn't get it. It wasn't one of those shows that I gravitated towards where I was like, yeah, this is definitely for me. I thought like some of the humor was kind of like a little corny, a little cheesy. But then as I stuck with it, I realized that it is corny and cheesy, and that's their style of humor. That's what they like to do. And they're going to do it because it makes them laugh and they're having fun. And I was like, I really like these guys. Like, I really like that kind of vibe, just throwing it down. Like, yeah, this is who we are. This is the type of jokes we make. And it's like, fun. Yeah, every once in a while I'll see clips of that on 9gag or whatever. Big fan of Scrubs. Love Scrubs. Yeah, the wake down. Trevor Noah was pretty funny when he first got here. Noah was still doing stand-up right until he signed a deal with Comedy Central. I swear to God, that's must have been, it was like a light switch. It was just like change from authentically funny. He was on Opie and Anthony, for Christ's sake. I saw him on Opie and Anthony. I guess like Jim Norton met him at the Comedy Cellar or whatever and brought him into Opie and Anthony. Like, that's an edgy fucking show. That's not really for, like, you know, punks. And he was in there. He was funny. He was interesting. He hung out. He wasn't condescending or preachy. And now it's like you see him. It's like, who is this guy? What are you? Like, you came from another country to lecture everyone here about why you know so much more about the world than us. It's like, go fuck yourself, man. And also, like, I heard he just bought like a $27 million house. It's like, well, this country can't be all that bad, bro. If it's working out for you in that regard, it seems like maybe there's something here for you. Shut the fuck up. Like, who wants to be lectured? That's what I don't understand about these like political agenda people. It's like, who wants a lecture? Do you want a lecture? Do you want to just be like, turn on your TV and like whoever is just pointing a finger at you, telling you why, you need to change this and you're not good enough at this, X, Y? Like, who the fuck wants that? Like, why would they think that would be effective? Why do they think anyone wants to hear that? And like, and how come it's allowed to just go out like all over? And that's the entertainment now, is to be lectured. It's like, go fuck yourself. We've talked about it plenty, but it's so gross. It's just so gross. And I don't know. I mean, I am kind of like an American in that regard, like someone else coming to my country and telling me how to be. It's like, hey, back off. Yes, Manolo Rivera. That's a good point. Seth got his ass handed to him by Gad Sad on Twitter. Yes, he did. Seth thought he could just swat him. There's a whole chain of the exchanges if you guys are interested in checking it out. But Seth thought he could just swat Gad like he was nothing. And No, man. Guy went at him, and he went at him like just the right way. He didn't go like, fuck you, you're stupid, you don't know. He like managed to hang with the conversation and say like really intelligent, sharp, like well constructed things, and made Seth Rogen look like a total asshole, which I kind of think he is a total asshole. You know, like I saw one of those benefits that was on Netflix, and I was like, oh man, this is gross. Like, this is just self-congratulatory Hollywood garbage where everyone's just like, me and you and us and me. Oh, we're so cool. And it's like, it's funny because like it was like all the jokes were like, you know, Hollywood jokes, like you all know us type stuff. It's like, ugh, gross. It was just people that are living in their bubble. And I've, you know, really haven't seen anything interesting from him in years. You know, but I don't know. I guess he's just part of the machine. I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens to people. They get there and they change. It turns into something, it gets inside your brain. It's like an earwig and just like turns you into something like that monster from Wrath of Khan. Easily suggestible, I guess. I don't know. All right. Scrolling down to the chat, losing a whole bunch. It's like, girl, you're, oh, I must be missing what you're talking about. But hi, ladies and gentlemen. Disease. What's up, brother? Good to see you, Disease. The Wake Down. Is this, are we referring to? I'm kind of, hey, Vigilante Williamson's here. Hello, Vig. My partner in culture crime fighting. Make sure to check us out every 6 p.m. Eastern over, I think it'll be on my channel this week for Culture Crime Fighters. That's a great show that me and Vig do. I mean, I say great. I might be a little partial in my opinion there, but I have fun. Vigilante is one of my favorite people, and we have a good time there. So if you love this, by all means, show up Wednesday because it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. Grin and Kuma. People complain in the most racially diverse country about how shitty the country is. Right. Super funny. True. It's true. That's a really interesting thing that I think needs to be explored a little more thoroughly in an open dialogue is how actually tolerant this country is compared to other countries in the world that like are straight up racist, and not just racist, like they have uncool opinions. Like it's illegal to buy property in certain countries if you're not a member of that country. You can't do it. And also it's a racially dominant, like one race. It's like, how are anyone gonna tell us about like our lack of acceptance and inclusion when it's like, it's illegal if you're not from that country to buy property. If you weren't born there, if you're not one of their people, it's like, that's fucking crazy. That's nuts. You're gonna tell us? And it's like lots of countries like that. And it's like this, like the big lie. It's like the more you say it, the more people will believe it. And then it becomes this, you know, this thing where you just accept it. Yeah. I mean, you've heard it 10,000 times. It's like, yeah, no, especially when you take the world in context here. Like when you're comparing it to how other nations operate, it's like, yeah, no, we need to stop repeating this stuff. I know I pretty much talk about them every Monday, but that's because it's such a good show. If you guys like are really interested in like someone who's much more knowledgeable on the subject than me, but that really gets into it, that Unsafe Space, man, that Kafifi break with Carter and Kerry over on Unsafe Space, that they know their stuff. They're so sharp. And Carter's like, he's such an intellectual samurai. Like he suffers no fools and cuts through bullshit very efficiently and is fearless, man. He's fearless in what he talks about and how he talks about it. I really admire him. Him and Kerry are doing great work, and they're really taking this stuff like head on. They're very knowledgeable. They do a lot of research. They're smart. That's such a good channel to check out for that type of conversation. You know, not just like media, like, you know, the real, like the front lines of that woke war, if you will. The Islington girl, it's like John Oliver. I can't stand that dude. Gross. Yeah. Another guy who's funny and charismatic, and their chief thing, their primary function becomes a mouthpiece for an agenda. Why, dude? Is it that sweet to sell out? Is it really that good? I mean, it must be. It must be like being on heroin all day long, because people just in droves just like sacrifice any sort of critical thought, individualism, a personal identity. They just dive in headfirst this thing and they just yap. No scrutiny, no challenging it. Like, I think John Oliver did do some good stuff. Some of his work I think was authentic, but it was always after like the same targets. It's like the woke people. They always want to go. They'll find extremists and they'll attack these elements, but it'll always be on the other side of the aisle. They never do any self inventory. There's never any kind of balanced conversation about the fact of all the radicals that are with them. Like, there's never anything like that. It's always servicing an agenda, even when it's not quite like a spot on, when it's not the typical identity. So it's always about that. It's always just a fucking culture war. It's like, why do you serve this God? Like, what power does it have over you? I don't understand. I mean, I just don't know why you'd want to live like that. Like, I understand, but it's like, why would you? Does that make you feel good? It must. I don't know. That's what Carrie over on Safe Space talks about a lot, is that kind of like, she thought she was doing good in the world. She believed what her reasons for doing this stuff was because like she thought that she was, making a positive impact. The wake down. Yeah, here we go. The simple answer as to how it happens is money. As a poor person, I can tell you that for a few $1 million, I'd shill for Kathleen Kennedy herself in person. Yeah, but you're saying that like coming from having nothing and like being a made man. These people had careers already. Like, they already were established. They were doing fairly well, at least well enough to not have to bend over, right? Like, I've bent over when it comes to the entertainment industry. I've done a lot of stuff that I've just looked back on with shame. And it was like they gave me a check. I had to do it. I can't pick and choose at my level, but at their level, you can. You don't have to take everything that comes your way. You don't have to do, but maybe at Trevor's level, it is just, but like, wouldn't that eat at your soul? You just not allowed to say anything outside the narrative? What are you? You speak for a living. You're supposed to get your point of view across to people, and you only have the one that's already pre-sanctioned for you? Fucking gross. Fucking gross. All right. Well, I caught up with the chat a little bit here. The Foul Ball Diaries coming to Netflix this fall. Yeah. That was the thing that was like when I was in Hollywood, like not that I was ever really in Hollywood, but I was around it, working and trying. I was getting crumbs off the table on occasion. But I was always like, near the table. And, you spend all this time and energy and money to pursue this career, and you get these like scripts, and they're literally like, it's just woke propaganda. Like, that's really all it is. It's all these straw men. Like, it's all just to prove the point of like intersectional feminism or whatever. Like, that's what it is. And it's like, I don't want to do this. I don't care if I'm getting money. I don't want this to be my life. I don't want to service your agenda. Also, I disagree. I don't think this is the a correct worldview. I don't agree with your conclusions, and I don't like the fact that I'm stifled from having a conversation. That you like reject me from your whole community if I just want to have a conversation about it. I don't want to service this. Maybe that's just what makes me different. I don't know. I don't understand how they do it. I don't know why you'd want to do it. It's really difficult to make it that far, to get to that point. And then your whole thing is just like not even your own thoughts, just saying what they tell you to say. Ugh. I don't know. Rajesh asks if I'm registered to vote. No, not yet. Not yet. I will, though, because I'm going to have to go get a license and register my car. So I'm sure I'll take care of it then. I heard it put really well because I was talking to this guy, told him that I was moving to Texas, and I was like, and he very delicately kind of was trying to ask if I was just going to come and vote like progressive. He didn't say it, but he was kind of like, hey, it's great that you're coming and all that and this, that, and the other. And it's just like some people come from California and they kind of, I don't know, he kind of tiptoed around it. And I was just like, well, what do you mean? He's just like, just keep California in California. It's like, that is such a good way to put it. That's such a good way to say, don't come into our state, flood it with your bullshit, and turn it into the hellhole you just fled from. I was like, that is really well put. I got to tell you, I like Austin so far, but there are definitely some things that remind me of home. 100%. In the middle of the riverside over there, there's a giant homeless encampments. Look just like home. Just like home. It's like, man. Even in Texas. But I kind of knew they were already here. And I know this is like not the pinnacle of, political freedom. This is definitely a woke city, but I think it's different. Here. I don't know. I'll report back on that. I don't want to cast any judgment yet. I just got here. Ah, interesting point. Vigilante Williamson. Of course it eats at their soul. That's why they use drugs. He's talking about the entertainers. Yeah, that's very insightful, my friend. Huh. That is a really insightful thing to say. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's like you need medication to quiet that inner voice that's telling you you're lying. This is bullshit. You don't believe this. You're selling your soul. See, that's why I stream with that motherfucker. He's a smart guy. I love him. SJW is a cult, says Manolo Rivera. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yes, it is. And that's what the unsafe space people cover a lot. That's what they get into. They call it the cathedral. And it's a really interesting, they're just so smart and so insightful. And it's because Carter is such a smart guy and learned and well-read. And Kerry used to be one of them. So it's like the combination of points of view really creates a very compelling analysis. Like they can really, with a scalpel, just get in there and scrutinize and point out what they're doing. And it's, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I imagine that's why, you listen to me and others like me, is because you need to hear someone saying something that's the truth as you see it, right? Like the world, for years, I'm like in this world and I'm seeing things. I'm like, that is not how it is. And you just hear people yap. They're regurgitating the bullshit. And once I found people like, say, Jordan Peterson, right, on Rogan, or Brett Weinstein, people that would like shatter this sort of illusion that they're putting over the world, it made me feel so good. It made me feel so like, like I could breathe, I could live. That's why I recommend like the Unsafe Space guys, because I think like if you find those people that you really respect and you like their voice and they have the kind of insight that like, kind of aligns with your own, I think it's really healthy. And that's what I advise heavily, to go find those people if you haven't, because it's good. Yeah, the Islington girl. I guarantee you John Oliver is empty as fuck inside. I wonder, because I saw his Comedians in Cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, and he seemed, funny and full of life. I don't know. Maybe it's validation too. Maybe just the fact that you get to work gives you this like sense of validation, and you don't feel, I don't know, maybe that replaces your need to express yourself. Just that you're in the clique is good enough. You get to hang out with all the cool people and the cool parties and the beautiful girls and the free booze and the good drugs. I don't know. I can't tell you because I've never been there. Must be something, because they do it in droves. It must be something. Oh, geez, you guys are getting dark in the chat there. I don't know. I mean, I agree with you probably, but I don't want to go that far with it. Yeah, this is a good point, Islington girl. Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, what are these people about? They don't have any ethics or morals that matter. Just whoever's paying the bills. Yeah, I know. Like, I think like a lot of the woke people, like, it's just they have more of just a misunderstanding of the world. They just have like a kind of a juvenile insight. It's so I think I believe some of this stuff when I was a kid, not a lot of it, but some of it. And it sounds good. It sounds positive. It sounds nice, right? You're just trying to fight for the underdog. You're just trying to undo a wrong. Oh, well, the world was it was a little backwards back then, but we're going to fix it. It's just, when you take that point of view and you apply it to the world and then it doesn't work, it doesn't fix the problems, it creates more and spawns more hell. It's like, well, then you have to reassess what you thought and what your point of view on the world was, because you're like, well, okay, now I have this evidence that is not actually applicable. Sounds great on paper, doesn't actually work. It's just that there's a contingent of people out there that are fighting against that and are not allowing like the natural evolution to come out of that kind of, childishly optimistic view of the world. And that's where I think it's really bad. I mean, stupid kids are going to say stupid shit, but you don't need to listen to them. You just be like, okay, cool. You're 20. I mean, that's what you're supposed to think. Whatever. Get back to me in 15 years when you actually, have lived a little bit and you can apply that knowledge and, see if your ideas were correct. Right now you just think you have all the answers because it sounded good when you heard it, but you don't know shit yet. So it's like, just get back to me. Like, I'm not saying you can't believe that, but just scrutinize your values. Are they going to hold that way? It's just that, no. It doesn't matter. It's like, that is the only way to think, and that is the only solution and conclusion. And if you disagree, you need to go. It's like, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy if you understand like the origins of it, but still, like, seeing it firsthand is pretty wild. Pretty wild. This is a really interesting point, Wake Down, and you're right. You have to remember that those people are actors. Anytime the camera is on, so is the persona. That's the whole point of shows like Comedians in Cars, comedians in Cars, humanizing them. It's hard for me to say that about the Comedians in Cars because I actually like that show, but you might be right. But the thing about the acting, the persona is right. And that's something that I never honestly expected. Being an actor myself, I never imagined how the audacity that it would need to perform your real life, because like that's an art form. Like, it's a very pure and precious one, to me at least, and I think it's a valuable one, that you would use it in such a profane way, that you would like lie to the people, use that skill set that you have to trick people and lie to them and put on a fake persona to like slip by. It's like, wow, man, like, what kind of a personality can do that? Like, what kind of a human soul can live that way and not have issue with it? That's some pretty dark stuff right there, man. And I think you're right. I think people do that. And it never even occurred to me because it's so gross. It's such a disgusting thing to do. That's like sociopath shit, man. People don't do that. You don't behave your personality. What the hell? But they're pros and they're really good at it. And they do it all the time. It's disgusting. It's not everybody. But the thing is, when it comes to Hollywood, the not everybody's are way too quiet. They don't say shit out of fear. And it's like, then you're going to get lumped in. It's not my fault. Prove me wrong, man. Have some fucking balls. Stand up and prove me wrong. Show me you're not one of them. Say something. And you can be like elegant, like Henry Cavill does, like the way he does it. Like, we hear him. They don't, but we do, which is good. But it's like, saying like, I don't believe in the toxic fandom. Win. Saying, I'm here to serve the Witcher's vision no matter what they want to do. Basically saying that he's not the focus of the Witcher anymore. Win. Like, there's no way that's controversial. It's such an elegant, granted he's English and the English have a good handle on the language, but still there's ways to put your flag up and show us that you're not part of that. You can do it if you want to. You can do it. And look, as I said, then, or suffer being lumped in. I can't help it, man. If you don't show me that you've got character and depth and salt, how am I supposed to just assume you do? And I know you're out there because I lived there and I met people. They were cool. They were down. They were real people. They weren't like, it wasn't all this like illusion bull. They weren't all Ezra Millers. You know what I mean? It wasn't all that. It was like just people, just working class people who, made it. That's it. That's all they were. Weren't fucking magic. They weren't like, in a cult. They were just people. And it was like, yeah. And so I know you're there. So it's time to start, sacking up and saying something, or get lumped in. It's not my problem. Make me understand. We'll look. We fucking went like from barely knowing who Gina Carano was to worshiping her in like a 6-month period, 8-month period. Like I liked her from from Deadpool. I kind of knew her as a fighter, and thought it was cool she was in The Mandalorian. That's about it. Once it was clear she was not a robot and she wasn't part of that whole thing, we gravitated towards her. We're like, yo, this girl is something special. You are and we all knew, we all saw it, and it was like the power that came from that. Like she's like a cultural martyr now. People like are all behind her, and like we look up to her like she's been around our whole lives. Just got here, essentially, and we're all like, yes. There's equity in speaking truth, real truth to power, and standing for what you believe in and not being a puppet. Like that's not everyone's prerogative. I get that, but the ones who it is, the ones who believe that we need some more. We need a little more, even if it's just little stuff like not bending the knee. We need a little bit more of that out of you. Grinakuma for $2. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Got to shout out Masked Man for anime stuff here. What do you mean? Is he in the chat, Mr. Masked Man? Are you talking about Vidge? Please clarify, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. Or is he? I don't see anyone named Masked Man. I don't know what you're referring. Would you please elaborate? I still have your anime recommendations, and I will get to them. I mean it. I'm not Gary. My list is not nearly as long. I can actually get to the things that I've been recommended. And I also bought Kai's book. Kai MFS has that book, Space Crime Domino. I bought it and thought that it was, I thought it was like my duty, in a way, like obligated, but I'm all authentically interested to read it. I haven't read a single page, so can't give you any kind of an insight there. But, if you want to support an independent creator who's a fan of this community, Kai MFS, Space Crime Domino. I'll get back to you. It's thick. Beautiful art, though. Just Another Red Shirt is doing math in the chat? Or is he just doing pi, repeating? I have no idea what's going on. Man must have a code. And then did Red Shirt just reveal his code? Is Red Shirt an autonomous AI? Is he an actual sentient dildo? What? That's crazy. That's nuts. Wow. I was saying, sentient dildo lives matter. I didn't know that I really had some in the chat other than the original. That's some beautiful stuff. You know what? You do you. I'm very happy for you, and I support you. And I've said this before. I support all sentient sex toys, all autonomous thinking sex toys. I support you, and I am. This is a friendly place for you. This is a safe space for all autonomous thinking vibrators, Sibians, butt plugs, all of them. You're all welcome here. You're all welcome here. Disease thinks that he's self-destructed. Yeah, maybe that was like a countdown. Maybe it was like, hail, Culture Casino. Culture Casino, hello, with a $2 super chat coming in, firing. You still have a channel after VW ran things. Wow, yeah, I know. yeah. We do, Vidge gets a little wild, gets a little crazy, but that's why I love him. And hey, still here, baby. Still swinging. So good to see you, Culture. Good to see you, Culture Casino. Culture's a good guy. If you guys have not subbed to Culture yet, make sure you do. And make sure you're subbed. Make sure you're still subbed to this channel. My subs fluctuate like crazy. I don't understand much about YouTube yet. I think that's why YouTubers kind of talk about like the mystical properties of the YouTube like algorithm, and because it's so confusing, and there's no like source of information. There's no priests of YouTube that can like, give me their blessings and teach me the ways of the YouTube algorithm. It's just very confusing. It's like parsing through the tea leaves, and we all just sort of pass along our interpretations to one another. And that's why you hear so much about it, because it's just like you're here every day, and I don't understand it at all. Not even slightly. Not even slightly. The Islington girl, maybe for you, but I don't know how I'd feel about an autonomous dildo. But what about a thinking sexual pleasure device? Knows what you want before you want it, and then just goes in a box, doesn't have any needs? Come on, you got to look at the upsides here. You got to think positively. This thing is to rock your world and then just shut down. Boom. There for your pleasure. And like I said, it's an overlooked community, a very much maligned community. And I will not stand for it, any longer. If I can do anything to help that community, I will. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Safe space for sentient dildos. That makes me laugh every time. Sentient dildo. Every fucking time. Oh, so funny. Is it thinking or clairvoyant? Well, maybe I'm putting a lot of, positive, giving him more credit than maybe he's due. But I would imagine if your entire existence is to be a dildo and you can think, you'd be pretty good at your job. Maybe not clairvoyant, but intuitive for your pleasure. See? Sentient dildo. Listen to him. Yes, we've been oppressed for decades. See? That's what I'm saying. This fair guy, there's this poor guy. Anthroparian. Is this the cooking with Matt show? No, that's later. I've got my sourdough starter here and it's maturing. So after this stream, then we'll, pop open the whole bread situation, get that going, teach you guys the techniques of how to make a good sourdough loaf. Stick around. That's coming up. Don't touch that dial. Hey, there you go. Just another red shirt sub. Give Culture Casino a sub. He's a good guy. He's a workhorse. He's always putting out stuff constantly. Godzilla, the YouTube algorithm that has become self-aware. Yeah, that's like the new Terminator movie. I want to see that. Speaking of movies, maybe you guys can tell me if you've seen it, because I haven't. I've been way too busy to see a movie, especially one in the theaters. But the Godzilla King Kong movie huge hit, way bigger than I think anyone expected. I was listening to the Midnight's Edge stream about it. I saw Yellow Flash's video about it. Yellow Flash? I think it was Yellow Flash. Yeah, that was pretty surprising because I think, there was a lot of memes and a lot of people talking about it, but I kind of thought that was more just like the internet having fun with kind of a silly topic. I didn't think anyone actually was that interested in it, but Jake D did. And if you want to see Jake D's stream on the subject, go sub over to Jake Diesel. Just Jake D, not Jake Diesel. Jake Diesel's my nickname for him. Jake D's channel, and check him out because he covered it right after he saw it the other night. I think that was maybe Saturday. So I don't know. I haven't seen it, but that's a pretty interesting development. I mean, Midnight's Edge was saying, is this going to save theaters? And I was like, holy shit, theaters can be saved? I thought it was done. I thought it was over. But I guess with a movie like this, that's, I do get a little worried about, what's that kid? 11, Millie Bobby Brown. She's a kid, like even if she is woke, whatever, she's like 16 or something, but she seems to show up in very divisive things at times. I wonder if her agents are really into the topics, the culture conversations, and want to get her in things. So when she's there, I'm like, but maybe it's just a completely politicless, fun, one of those Hollywood popcorn movies that you just go in, you enjoy the ride, you get out, you forget about it, you just had fun, like a roller coaster. I have no idea. If I'm being honest, it seems like a big commitment for me. I can't imagine it's good. Like I just can't imagine it's something that I would enjoy for that length of time. maybe in a theater. But I would want to be with someone who would want to hear me make fun of it if it's terrible. I wouldn't want to like go with, I don't know, like my dad or something like that, who would just be like, I don't know. I'd want someone who would be like, who'd be receptive to my, critical insights and stuff. But like I said, maybe it's really a great fucking movie. I don't know. Jake D's here. And he says, thanks, Matt. You're welcome. It was a decent kaiju movie. Decent. Decent's not bad. Decent's not bad. That's something. If it's decent, I'll settle. If it's new, if you're putting out something new, I will settle for decent. Because at least it's not bad. If it keeps my attention, that's how I felt about the Justice League. Fine. Good, even. Still decent. Ascension Dildo, shout out Matt's dad. Yes, sir. Thank you. I got a shout out from, I asked for it, but I got a shout out from the cocktail loungers the other night. Giving my dad a shout out. He got a kick out of that, by the way. So thank you very much for that. But I thought it was good. Like Mahler's review, his Rampage was amazing. Like he eviscerated that movie, and I got so much joy out of it because he's hilarious and he's relentless and he's so insightful. But like he's right about a lot of his points, probably all of them. But I don't care. Like I'm not like, no, it was smart and it was good. It wasn't. It was kind of stupid, but it was fun. It was just the right amount of like action. I think Mahler's critiques that it's mostly style over substance. I agree. But considering it's almost 4 hours fucking long and I didn't hate it, that's an amazing accomplishment. And I watched it and kind of enjoyed it right after he potentially insulted the entire geeks and gamers community and aligned all them with racism and stuff, myself included, because I consider myself in that orbit. So not as a fan. And I still was able to enjoy it. That says a lot. That says a lot. And so if Jake's saying it's a decent movie, a decent kaiju movie, fuck, maybe it's worth the time. Maybe it's worth seeing. Grinaguma. I'm just waiting for the VW live stream. He's a lovely man. He is a lovely, lovely man. He is great. He is great. Mary G's review. Fun fights, horrible acting. Only Kong deaf girl could act. There's still a good time to see in theaters. Like that sounds like a good enough. Good enough. What do I expect it to be? Genius? Is Scorsese taking notes for his next project? Probably not. Probably not. But if it's fun, if it's a fun ride, you just get out. Woo, that was fun. Let's go get some drinks. Cool. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see it. I just don't know if I care enough. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate everyone who wants to cover it. And there's so little to cover. I just like, but what am I going to say about it, even if I like it? I was like, yeah, it's monsters and they kind of punch each other a lot. And I don't know. I wouldn't even know like why. You don't need me to tell you that. You know what I mean? My insight comes from different interesting things. Scoundrel pilled. I like that. Scoundrel pilled. They managed to squeeze a little SJW nonsense in there. Thumbs down. Really? Just because of that? If it's just a little, can you, well, it depends on, can you put up with a little? I can put up with a little I can put up with. I don't mind if I don't like it, but I can put up with it. But I think almost like putting up with any of it is kind of what opens the door to lots of it, to be completely honest. But I guess it's your own personal taste, right? Like if it's a little, it depends the type of SJW stuff too. Like if they're kind of just broad platitudes about shit, it's like, all right, whatever, I can get over that. But if they're the ones that are really critical and precise, and it's like it hits particular audience members because of their background, then I'm like, oh, fuck yourself. I'm not into this. Not into this. So I guess it really does depend. Really does depend. Vidge says there are some woke moments. Yeah. I mean, shocker. What's going to get made that isn't woke? I don't know that anything honestly, can get made that isn't going to have something woke in it, to be honest. They're fighting a war. And they've managed to grapple. I don't know. I don't want to talk about the woke stuff all the time. It's just so exhausting. It's so exhausting. It's just like, but it's important. I mean, it's important, but I just want to go back to either enjoying things or not enjoying things. It's just, I hate that it's constant. It's constantly what we have to talk about and focus on. But it is what it is. It's what we're getting. I mean, it's the state of the nation right now. You know, people are like, oh, don't go on about the woke stuff all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry. This is reality. This is what entertainment is propaganda. We are getting state-sponsored entertainment. That's what this is. This is not like for fun. It's for brain thought, wrong brain, think right brain. I don't know. Godzilla, that's funny. Oh, yeah. It's not Citizen Kong, but it's entertaining. How did you feel about the representation of your people? Did you feel like any cultural appropriation there or any kind of like buffoonery? Did they well represent giant lizards is my question. I just want to make sure, I would hate for you to feel like you were exploited. And if you were, you let me know, because I will dedicate this channel to making sure that giant lizard lives matter. Okay? Let me know. Get back to me on that. Mike Beat. The movie is supposed to be fun. In that regard, it was good. Are there a bunch of nitpicky issues and technical issues? Sure. But it's not about that in big monster break stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just so intellectually advanced that I just need like layered entertainment. That's not that. It's just, there's just certain, I can appreciate simple and explodey. I need something though. I don't know. I'm not sure what okay, so here's an example. I don't enjoy John Wick. It's not fun for me. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't enjoy that. I'm like, this is so thin. There's nothing here. Yeah, he's a badass. Cool. And he just shoots his way through everybody. I mean, I knew that from the trailer. And then just watching him shoot his way through everybody, it's like, okay. I mean, that's what I expected. Like, it's like, that doesn't do it for me. And I'm not saying like that can't be cool. It can be cool. It's awesome sometimes, but there's just certain movies that if it's too thin, like if it's not really a movie, if it's just kind of a strung together series of scenes that kind of vaguely surround a plot, I don't know. I don't know if I'd find that interesting. Maybe. I don't know. The Islington girl. This is telling Hollywood loud and clear what they want to watch. What they do now, who knows? Yeah, but they don't give a shit. They don't care. I mean, I'm sure there are people in there that care. I'm sure there are like reasonable thinking people who are not like caught up in all this shit, who are just like, we just want to make money. This would make sense. And they probably pitch these ideas to the board and the board just like doesn't go for it. But like the Snyder Cut was such a huge success. I mean, the amount of people that watched that, the amount of engagement it got is undeniable. That should be, you'd think the next thing would be a huge announcement about all the different Snyderverse movies they're going to make, or how they're going to, whatever, they're going to continue on in that vein. And, that fan movements might gain some more traction. Like, they have the evidence that these things are what we want. They don't care. It seems they don't care. If I'm being cynical, it seems that they'll pump out whatever and they think we'll consume it no matter what. Which, because for a long time it was true. I don't know. I should probably do some more reading on it or something, because I'm speaking purely from emotion. But my feeling is that they don't care about what we want to watch. They just care that we show up and give them money. Which to me would mean then make us the stuff that we want and we will show up and give you money. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's that far off. I don't know. It doesn't seem that confusing to me. But anyway, I don't know. Sentient Dildo. Plenty of great entertainment outside of Hollywood. Right you are, sir. Right you are. I think we all should be partaking in that a little bit. I think we should all be finding some stuff that's a little more obscure, a little more outside the lines, and recommending it to our friends and family. They're going to be tough sells at first, of course, because I know I am like this. I kind of need like a little more validation about a thing, unless like I'm really crazy into the subject matter or something. But for me to just try, like sight unseen, just try something, that's a bit of a stretch. It's a bit of a risk. But I think that's why our word of mouth recommendations can actually guide people to good things that don't support this fucking agenda, that don't support this, anti-Western restructuring of the fucking universe, of the world. And I think if we take the time, if we were to hand ferry, our recommendations to people, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I like doing it anyway, but I think that that's the only way these things really get traction, unless you've got a big YouTube channel, and by all means, then you use it, please. But I think it's the only way you get anyone to watch anything, because it's like, how do you help any of this grow? How do we get like independent stuff in front of people? How do we get people to watch that kind of stuff? That's the only way, is to recommend it. So I'm also very open to recommendations too, guys. So if you have anything you want to throw my way, please, by all means, I would like to check it out. Manolo Rivera. They use our franchise as a platform for their agenda messaging. Yes, 100%. 100%. They do it shamelessly. They do it viciously. They do it maliciously. They do it with no mercy. And we've seen that time and time again. And I don't want to preach cynicism, but I almost feel like anything they touch, just keep your eyes open. Not saying don't watch it. Not saying be like, fuck this if it's not what I want it to be. But just keep your eyes open. That's my advice, because it just seems to be universal. Like, I was so spun around on The Expanse this season. Like, I just didn't think it could happen of this show. I know Ascension Dildy in the chat disagrees with me. But my conclusion is that it's woke. It went woke, and it did it for woke reasons. And I was worried about it before the season started. And then when we got 3 episodes in, I was like, no way. This is a masterpiece. This is going to be one of their best seasons of TV maybe ever. And it spun around so hard, and I couldn't believe how bad it was. And it can happen to anything. Nothing's safe. And as we see, almost anything that comes out is going to have something like that in there. So just keep your eyes open, just keep a lookout, see where they're putting it, because I would, if they just make something that's just a pure entertainment, I'd be shocked. I'd be like, wow, really? Where'd that come from? What's that about? Scoundrel Pill, they destroyed that show. Yeah, dude, they really did. They really did. That was the biggest heartbreak, man. Just, wow. I thought they were immune. I thought they were above it. They weren't. They were not. Yeah, the Wake Down ripped The Expanse. Yeah. Yeah. I think they could get back on track next season, to be completely honest. I really do. But they're going to have to win me back. Like, I'm going to show up, but I'm going to show up like squinting, through judgmental, questioning eyes. I'm not going to be like, yay, my favorite show. I'm going to be like, what's going on with it this season? I mean, you'll be a lot less benevolent, a lot less generous. I think it could still potentially get on track. Who knows? They also attacked fans, not directly, but kind of, by saying, I hope people don't find out how woke and progressive our show is. It's like, oh, you dicks. You fucking dicks. Also, that's really shitty to do to a fan base that A, is extraordinarily passionate, but B, resurrected your show. Made it happen. Put their own money on the line to make it happen, and you're going to go attack them? That's not the move I would do. That is not the move I would do. Grinakuma, lol, imagine or Rajesh, lol, imagine a woke MMA fighter. They exist. Wasn't there that fight with Colby and some other fighter, and he was all like into causes, and Colby was like a MAGA guy or whatever, and that was like there was like the battle of politics or whatever. I don't know. Godzillionaire. I hope the expanse issues were just due to Cass Anvar situation, but I doubt it. I think it was 100% due to the Cass Anvar situation. Will they right the ship? I don't know, because everyone was praising Dominique Tipper like it was the most amazing thing they'd ever seen. Like they're Yas Queening the shit out of that. And you start Yas Queening, you start bowing to that kind of, appreciation. I don't know. Does it stop? Do you just go back to making Holden the focus of the show again? I mean, you're not supposed to do that according to their laws and rules. I don't know. I mean, like I said, could happen. Not hopeful for it. I don't know. Oh yeah, Ascension. Yeah, Ascension says he agrees it's going to shit. He just doesn't think it's woke. Yeah, we've gotten into that. There's a whole bunch of streams, me and Sentient Dildo going back, but that's how I found the Sentient Dildo, the thinking vibrator. That's where I found him. So God bless. God bless. God bless. The Wake Down. It's not that they got rid of Cass Anvar. It's that you get the impression they just kicked him off the set mid-scene, and his death is never even addressed by half the cast. Well, yeah, it's that. It's also the restructuring of the whole second half of the season, where everything was shot around him. My opinion is they did reshoots and dragged out these meaningless scenes that didn't move the plot, as an excuse, and they acted like it was the story. And they adjusted where they were going and what was happening in order to just kind of work around Cass's existence, and then just kill him unceremoniously, because I guess they couldn't have brought him back for anything. I think it could be the most inept handling of something like that. I have no idea why they thought that was the best idea. Why would they do that? Like, just recast the guy. It's not like he wrote his own character. He's just an actor hired to do a job. Okay, what if he died? What if he died in real life? You just stopped doing the show? What if he just got sick? Or what if he quit? What if he just stopped being an actor? You would just be like, well, I guess there's no more cast. No, you'd recast him. You'd come up with something. It was almost weird the way they celebrated it. It was like they made this memorial to this guy who was a creep, right? Allegedly. So why would you even acknowledge it? Like, why would you even give it any kind of respect? He's in the season, so you didn't just write him out of the whole season. So just recast him. Like it never happened. Done. I'll never understand that choice, because it just ruined what was a tremendous season. And then they prioritized wokeness. They derailed the momentum of a great show. And now who knows what's going to happen? They alienated fans. They alienated me. I mean, there was a lot of fans watching that show that were, they're watching my streams and watching Gary, and we're just disillusioned. So I can't be the only one who thinks this. So it's like, why would you think that would pay? Why is that your play? Oh, I don't know. They're going to mirror Batwoman. Character leaves and is replaced with an ethnically diverser version. He's already an Indian guy. As far as representation in media, that's pretty, it's relatively rare in the West. So I don't know, maybe they trans version. I don't know, but whatever they wanted to do, whatever potential could have existed, anything other than the way they handled it. God, I'll never forgive them for that. I'm not never, but it's a tough one to get over. That's a tough one for me to get over. Jesus. Sentient Dildo, having Naomi heavily breathing solo on a small set was the cheapest way to go. Yeah. And I pointed out in earlier episodes, there was just these weird two shots, these just weird, kind of really simple camera movement going back and forth, and just two characters just talking about utterly nothing. I'm like, what is this? Move the story. They never do that. Ever. I covered almost every episode of that show on my channel. maybe not almost every episode, a few seasons. And that was the thing with the writing, man. It was always efficient. There was never just nonsense scenes for no reason. They always moved the ball, always. So I don't know. Watching that, it was just like, there's something wrong. This is off. I don't know. Oh, the Islington girl. Yeah, a lot of, I think it's, yes, a lot of what the fuck around the Expanse. I only saw the first 2 seasons, but I'm not going back after that. I would say you could finish the 3rd season. I would recommend you can finish the 3rd season safely, and I found it very satisfying. I really liked it. I loved the end of the 3rd season. I thought it was incredible. I thought it wrapped up the story really well. It opens up all these new chapters and new possibilities and potential for the future. I adored it. It's disappointing where it goes, but to me, it feels like the end of a story. So you can safely finish the first 3 seasons and enjoy it, and nothing will be tainted for you. It might suck when you realize, oh, I love this and I want there to be more. And I'd be like, you get, 1.5 seasons if you want. I thought season 4 was pretty weak and season 5 was a disaster. So, if you just want to have you only watched the Matrix 1 experience, finish season 3. And it's great. And it's really enjoyable. That was my favorite show. God, I love that show. Watched it so many times just for my own enjoyment, just over and over. Just adored it. But shit happens. C'est la vie. The Wake Down. Yes. Amos is the best part of that show. The I am that guy moment sums up that character perfectly. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And he was so underutilized in this season. It was such a endless slog to get him to that ship. And then everyone making stupid decisions to get onto the ship. And him listening to Peach's compassion for no reason. She goes, well, we can't just kill everybody. It's like, okay, but they're going to come back. And then all those people died because you were trying to be compassionate. It's like, well, your compassion just got everyone murdered. It's not very compassionate. Sometimes taking them out is the best thing to do. And Amos listened to this for whatever reason. And the gangsters listened to this. It was so stupid. And then every single one of that gangster guy's crew gets murdered. He didn't even seem to notice. This was a crew he left his hometown with on Amos' harebrained scheme and his good word and her good word. And then they all got killed because of some incredibly unnecessary and careless action. He's just fine with it. What? Why? What? Who is this character? And that's exactly the kind of thing that they fucked up on this show that they never fucked up in the past. It was just like when Game of Thrones started making stupid decisions and the characters who were always super smart, did things that made sense. And when they stopped it, you're like, wait, what's going on? That's what happened with The Expanse season 5. They never did stuff like that. Characters never had wild, questionable motivations where you're like, what are you doing? Why does that happen? That doesn't align with your character or anything that you established. It's just a meaningless reaction. They never did stuff like this. And and you saw it. You see it from episode 6 or 7 on is when you really start to see them doing things they never did, making nonsensical character choices, endless scenes that don't move the plot, incredibly rapid overthrows of the entire government that all happened off screen. They overthrew the Earth government off screen. What? Why even go through it then? It was just like Avasarala was poised to be the president, then wasn't, and then immediately was. It was like, wow, that was great. What an arc. What a payoff. So glad I took that journey with you. Oy. Oy vey. Rajesh. Rajesh Taylor gave me a $3.34 super chat. All the best with the Texas adventure, dude. Hopefully one day I'll be able to drive through your beautiful country once again and meet up for a steak and beer. Fucking A, my friend. Fucking A. Me and Jake will take you out for some barbecue, brother. That would be great. That would be awesome. Yeah. Gran Akuma. Hello, Gran. Matt, you asked me to clarify. I super chatted you about The Masked Man. In my opinion, the best Anituber. Great reviews and to watch recommendations about anime and manga. Okay. Check out The Masked Man, everybody. Check out The Masked Man. I'll have to write that down. Thank you very much for that recommendation. I appreciate it. Vigilante left? Vigilante Williamson. He's my favorite. Amos started acting like Timmy. Yeah, he did. And he started taking his cues from like this chick who'd been in prison for a long time and like was a little unhinged to begin with because like got it in her head that she needed to go like kill all the people who like she blamed for putting her father in jail, even though he was like a mass murderer. And now suddenly she's like this insightful and compassionate person by which Amos should take his cues. I understand Amos is not like the best at making all those decisions, right? Like that's kind of his character is he needs someone to guide him because he's the wires are a little loose. But why his survival instincts are on point? Why would he suddenly just start trusting her? I mean, they tried to make it like she was more compassionate, but I don't know. I mean, like that whole thing, it's just like, all right, what happened? He goes to the prison or whatever with Peaches to see her, which is sweet. I mean, they started off like there's this whole storyline about the people that raised him, and that doesn't really go anywhere at all. So you're like, okay. Then you find like his gangster friend, like, okay. And then he goes and rescues Peaches. It's like, okay, but like none of this really means anything. It's just kind of like vague illustrations of like his backstory and character. It's like fine, but none of it plays into the bigger story. And the only way it ends up playing into the bigger story is that him and the gangster guy get off the planet together. I mean, so if that's it, if that's why we watched an entire season's journey was to get Peaches and this gangster dude like off the planet. It's like, wow, that is not efficient writing. It took you 10 episodes to get us there. Jesus, dude, there has to be a more efficient way to do that, or accompany that with some other story developments, or let him run into some like agents from the Martian government who are trying to subvert Earth or something. Jesus Christ. Empty storytelling this season. Really just such a disappointment. And it's weird to me how many people seem to not have gotten that. Like, I don't think I'm being like wildly off base with these critiques. I don't think my point of view on this is out of left field. But like every single Instagram post about The Expanse that I see is just praising it up and down like it was utter genius. I've never seen a show depart from its core as hard, maybe since Game of Thrones. I mean, it's like it's that dramatic of its switch to me. It's just over a shorter period of time, and it's not over, but it feels similar. And everyone just praising it like it's so great. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Even the streams where what I did, where it was mostly my audience, it's like a 50-50. It's not mostly my audience. That's not true. It's the way more. Those are some of the highest viewed streams I've done. But like it's a 50-50 split on the like to dislike ratio. Still to this day, it's like people just didn't want to believe this one. I'm like, I'm not making this up. I'm not just like, this isn't my opinion. Like you can track this type of stuff. It's quantifiable. Like these things this is what happened and this is what was accomplished. It's very meek, especially compared to how taut and compelling it used to be. You know, season 4, meh. But like, no. This is not, I'm not like off base about it. You can have an opinion because a lot of it's just an opinion about where it's coming from. Fine. But don't tell me I can factually prove it. It's a different style of writing. It's less efficient. It's less compelling. I mean, it's a bad second half of the season and people just didn't want to see it. It's like, guys, I mean, I understand. I want to protect the things I love too, but not at the expense of them actually being good. Well, I'm just going to lie to myself? Why? They did this to me. They did this to the show. Why would I lie to myself about? Who does that help? That just makes me a sheep, a puppet who will just accept anything. The Islington Girl, end of season 2 was wild. Yes, it was. It's so good, Islington. You got to see it. Honestly, finish season 3. It's so fucking excellent. Because I feel like that storyline from season 2 kind of ends halfway through season 3, and then a new storyline picks up. And that's when you get Drummer and this new character, Ashford. So good. So good. I don't want to spoil anything for you because it's just such a compelling. Hey, look who it is. Look who came out of his cave. It's Luke. Hi, buddy. You finally feeling comfortable in the house? Well, that's nice. Say hello to everybody. Say hello to the Foulball Productions audience. Live from Texas. Boom, 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 boom. All right, get out of here. Bam. Luke made it. Sension Dildo. Ashford. Yes, Ashford is the character that I was referring to. The Islington Girl. I will watch season 2, but it sucks to see you so disappointed. Thank you so much. But, it's like we've all been through it, and I appreciate that. But we are collectively going through this because that's why we're here. I mean, look, that's why I'm here. That's what happened. I found YouTube because of all the heartbreak from watching Game of Thrones just utterly collapse and having all the years of frustration and pent up, like, what the hell have you done to my feelings that I couldn't get out and I couldn't express and communicate with other people on. And, that I think that's what we have in common. I think that's why we are bonded in this. This is what what unites us. And like, I empathize with when it happens with you, and I know what it feels like. It's like, I've never seen an episode of Doctor Who, not once, not a single episode. I've never seen it. I completely understand what Gary is going through or went through, what Doomcock got all mad about, what Jake D got upset about. I completely get it. I know exactly what that feels like. Never seen a single episode. It's like, we're bonded on these things. Like, this is what we, this is what unites us, is this kind of feeling. We're like, all right, well, fuck this, no. The Islington Girl, Luke is literally a beast. Yes, he is. He's a big boy. He's a good cat. He is a good old cat. Mike DiCarlo. Yeah, you have to finish season 3 at least. Yeah, you really do. You really should. Like, it's really interesting. I love season 3. It's so compelling. It moves so fast and so much crazy shit happens. It's really, really good. It's really good. Mike DiCarlo says, I would say that season 4 is still better than most other stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. It's hard for me to know if I feel that, simply because I'm only comparing it to other seasons of The Expanse. And I've only seen it. I think I've only seen it one and a half runs through, which is really low for me, because every other episode of The Expanse I've seen, I've watched every other season, like, I don't know, 5-6 times. So maybe I'd give that a go eventually. I need some time. I need some time. It was like, I put it out, Game of Thrones, out of my mind for so long. And then I was remembering about it. And I was like, oh, God, all the good times with that show, how much I loved it. And I know I can never go back, because I just know it doesn't pay off. And like, so much of it was hinging on this stuff, but it was that feeling of like, man, I used to love that thing. God, I wish they didn't fuck that up. So I'm kind of in that place with The Expanse right now where I'm like, I don't know. I can't really. I don't know. When the new season comes out, I'll do something special probably. And we'll talk about it. We'll be here, probably bring Jake in and anyone who wants to talk and, be a fan. But that is hilarious. The Wake Down. And who was the only person that looked at the end of Game of Thrones season 8 and thought, wow, I should hire the guys who made that? Kathleen Kennedy. That's funny. However, not actually accurate because I think they were hired before that. And that's why a lot of people speculate that season 7 and 8 were rushed and didn't make any sense because they were just kind of packing their bags and going off to make Star Wars. And then it was all that stuff that came out that like these are the guys who made that X-Men movie where they put like made Deadpool a mute and all that shit. And you're like, yeah, maybe we should have seen this coming. But we were all so into Game of Thrones and how masterful it was. Yeah, I haven't heard hide nor hair of those guys in a while, which I am happy about. I will never be able to forgive those friggin' retards. Luke, hey, get down, you. You can't go up there. I already deserved it down. Gotta give him one of these. Give him one of these if he gets too rowdy. Can't have little cat feet all over our food. Crazy. The Islington girl. End of Game of Thrones. I wanted to get on Drogon and burn it all to the ground. It was so bummed. Ugh. Right? Never been more disappointed in anything in my whole life. Expanse is close, but no, not nearly. No way. Game of Thrones is a staggering disappointment. Never in my wildest dreams could I possibly have imagined it would have shit the bed like that. Never. People used to have these theories. There were Reddit like threads that were like miles long with like, oh, is Bran the Builder? And is he like going back in time? And is he the Night King? And all this, and they're just like, nah, none of that. You know what it is? It's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. The art we made in the snow, nothing. Nah, that was nothing. You know, the whole thing with the Night King making babies, that wasn't anything either. Yeah, and we'll have Arya. Arya will kill the Night King. You're just like, what the fuck are you doing? How is this show how is this Game of Thrones? Oh, God, one of the worst things ever. One of the worst things ever. Scoundrel Pilled, very sharp. Season 6 should have seen it coming. Yeah, but could we possibly have seen it would go in that direction? Could we possibly have seen that it would collapse on that epic of a scale? I couldn't have. I was like, this is getting weird. This is getting kind of, it was never woke, but it had like elements of woke. It was never consistent, but it was like, you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Wait, so they kill Baelish? Why? How? What? And like, Jon Snow needed to be rescued by Sansa? What? And he's so angry. He just charges at the whatever that guy's name was. Renly, whatever the fuck, Renly. Because he saw his brother die. It's like, what did you think they were gonna do? Like, what did you expect was going to happen? That they would just put him on a horse and give him back to you, like his only leverage. And then the entire plan hinges on you not charging first. And they're like, well, now John's stupid and he just charges first. And you're like, what is going on? Oh, it's okay. Sansa's here to save him. What? Also, Baelish being a piece of shit is relevant, but he did save everyone there at the Battle of the Bastards. So, yeah, you kind of just murdered the savior of of Jon Snow and everyone who was there who lived. So, yeah, he's a piece of shit and he's a liar and does all these terrible things, but he did save everybody there. So I'm sure there were some people in that village or generals and, people in the army who were like, let's not get rid of that guy. Actually, I don't like that you killed him. He kind of saved my ass. Sentient Dildo, Khaleesi mad. Yes, which Gary says that's the ending. Is Khaleesi turns evil, which is like, if you think about it, that is fucking genius. Because if you take this character who you're rooting for the whole time and is so pure of heart and is the savior, like the breaker of chains, does all this stuff, it's like she's the right woman for the job. You're like this, and then if she turns evil, that's an unbelievable arc. You couldn't have seen coming if you even tried. And the fact that that's where it goes is genius. But they didn't take the time to earn it. They're just like, nah, she's bad now. Yeah, I don't know. She's mad at Cersei or something. We'll just destroy this castle. Whatever. What? What do you mean? I don't know. She's mad and her friend died or something. And whatever. Dragons is dead. I don't know. Who cares? What are we doing for Star Wars? Like, unbelievable. Like, so it's really bad because it's not just like a bad season of TV, right? This era of television isn't the same as it used to be. It wasn't like you just kind of tuned in when you could and you watch a missed episode here and there. We can dwell on these episodes and rewatch them. I did many times. And like I spent so much mental time and energy living in the Game of Thrones world, like speculating about what could happen, like a theory about these characters, coming up with my own ideas about who's going to win the Game of Thrones, like all this shit, like lived in it, rewatched the seasons over and over and over. And for them to just quit and give us the shittiest, cheapest, most poorly realized version of what the story was is beyond insulting. It's like it's so heartless and selfish and like devastating. It's like what? I've been here since the beginning. I've watched every season like 8 times. This is how you choose to end it? Oh, not over it still, obviously. It's so wrong that they would do that to fans, to people who watch this shit, who spend money on it, buy the merch and, follow the actors and support the whole thing. And they're just like, nah, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. Just quit. Pass it off to someone hungry. I'm sure there's other people in Hollywood who would take that job. Ugh. Brutal. Manolo Rivera. Subverting of expectations is a delicate business. Done well, you get Breaking Bad. Done poorly, it comes across as a FU to the fans. Right, because if your whole goal was to subvert expectations, it's almost always going to be an unsatisfying experience because you're just trying to be cute and clever. It's not like you were writing the story and came up with this like insight, like, oh shit. Like it all crystallized and you saw this on the horizon and you couldn't believe that it appeared to you. You were just like, what would be the wild thing to do? Oh, we'll just have this happen. And they won't expect it. It's like, yeah, okay, we won't expect it. Doesn't mean we're going to enjoy it. Like you have to earn shit like that. And it's so insulting and disrespectful to the fans who support this. And like, I don't need to say it. You have all heard it a million times, but these are the people who make the only reason you get to make anything is because people show up to watch it. If you disrespect them, it's like, it'd be like me going to a stand-up show and the guy just being like, fuck all you all suck. I don't like any of you. You paid money for me, stupids, da-da-da-da-da. Like that would be like, it's like, well, why would I do? I'm never going to do that again. Like that was incredibly insulting. Why would I give you money in the future? It's like, that's what this is. It's a version of that. You're just like, whatever, who cares? I mean, these idiots, like, what's the difference? I'm tired of this show. I want to move on. It's like, you don't get to have that point of view, man. Not without hearing a lot of shit back after you do. Like, it's extraordinarily disrespectful. People are invested in this shit. It matters to you. I don't know. I just, it's this, like, not universal, but it's like constant, ubiquitous. Is that the word I mean? I don't know. It's so many people in the storytelling profession that just like don't give a fuck about telling stories. It's like, then move along, motherfucker. There's lots of people who want to, and there's lots of fans that want to hear stories. It's very disrespectful. The Islington Girl. I've read all the books, and honestly, I still doubt she'll ever get to Westeros, but now I don't even care. I know I don't either. I can't care about that. I can't bother with that. Could you imagine that? I mean, that'd be like pining for an ex who's like married with kids. You're like, it's over, dude. It's done. It's gone. Like, it's never going to happen. Like, move on. Like, that's what this is like. Just don't even think like that. Like, it's just, no. Game of Thrones is dead. I mean, I admire Gary for, even kind of sticking it out with George, hoping he's going to get the books, but I'm not spending any time doing that. There's so much other stuff I could, enjoy. So many other movies I've never seen and TV shows I can get into. An anime, Grant, I didn't forget about you. And comic books and shit there's so much entertainment that you can consume. There's no reason to do that. No reason to do that. Yes, Scoundrel Pilgrim. The best part of Game of Thrones was where actions had consequences. You couldn't get away with any dumb writing. It was brilliant. It was so brilliant. It was so stunningly brilliant. Like, I'd never seen anything like that in my life. Like, I remember in season 1 when they're at the Stark Castle and the kids are like getting a lesson about something. I forgot what it was. But it was something, it wasn't just throwaway words. It wasn't just like, okay, get your lessons now, and here's 2 + 2. It was like something about the history of that realm that played into the overall story. It was like, damn, this is layered. Like, every little detail informed you about the universe and the story, and they were clues. It was, you paid attention on a whole other level watching that show. You're like a detective watching that show, and you'd have like different ideas. Oh, did you see this? You'd have like theories, and ooh, maybe it'll be this. We couldn't be more invested, and it was nothing in the end. It was like that level of investment, and you're just like, fuck off. So disrespectful. So utterly disrespectful. Yeah, they kept setting up the baby thing. It's awful. It's awful. Awful, awful, awful. That's funny. Godzillionaire. Jon Snow. Leroy Jenkins. Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's funny. The Islington girl. Arya didn't earn that kill. No, she had nothing to do with that storyline. I think the Critical Drinker nailed it. It was just like, why her? Like, I liked Arya. She had a great storyline. It kind of went all over the place and didn't have like a through line. And her whole thing about the names of all the people she was going to kill, like, just kind of, that just sort of went away. Just didn't really pay off. Like, kind of, but not really. Like, she didn't have like some huge arc where she killed Cersei like she wanted to. Like, that would have been awesome. It's just so like, nah, she kind of sort of moved on. Like, okay, that's like her motivation, but you're like, all right, I guess that's not happening. And so just have her kill the Night King. You're like, why? Because he had the wound? Or, I mean, okay. Even if that makes any kind of sense, that could be the most anticlimactic build and payoff in entertainment history. The first thing that happens in that show is an attack from the White Walkers. It's the first thing that happens. The teaser to the pilot is these guys getting attacked by White Walkers, finding the little art in the snow, and then both, one guy getting murdered and the other guy being a deserter. That's the first thing that happens. So 8 seasons later, it's over in one night, in a flash. 'Cause really, that's the story you're telling. That's the payoff. I stuck around for that. You need your ass kicked, pal. That's some insulting shit right there, dude. That is fucking dick move. So fucked up. Ascension dildo. Ugh, Sansa, I know. Because she had a good arc too. I like Sansa. Like, she was insufferable at first. Utterly insufferable. And then becomes like, you're like, damn, kind of feel bad for Sansa. Girl had a rough go. You kind of, empathize. But then, like, then she just becomes like, ugh. And who cares? And who gives a shite? Who gives a shit? Yeah, Islington girl was so insulting. Godzillionaire, winter didn't come, it prematurely came. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, the long night was kind of a rough afternoon, really. Just sort of an unpleasant evening. That's the long night. Spiders as big as hounds? I guess not. Guess no, the spiders as big as hounds. Got, even honestly, like talking about it is getting me like genuinely like upset again. I'm just like, damn it. Feel like not over it. Maybe never will. I don't know. Maybe it never will get over it. It's just one of those things where it's like, I love that so much, and now it was just robbed from me. I don't know. Manolo Rivera. They lost me on Arya when she got stabbed 20 times and developed superpowers and invincible plot armor. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, that's the thing is like, as much as a genius as George is, I think he's really written himself into a lot of different corners that he can't really get out of. Like, how on earth does the whole Bravos story pay off? Like, how do you get her from Bravos back to Westeros in a way that makes any kind of sense and still keeps her plot going? Like, the threads of that show really are pretty all over the place. Like, that's why I was kind of forgiving of Dumb and Dumber D&D when they like on the first season after the books. I was at season like 6 or 7, whatever it is, where it's like it's kind of stupid and doesn't quite make sense. I was forgiving because it was like they have a lot of legwork to do. Like, George left them like in a tough spot. Like, there's so many ways, so many threads you have to connect, and so many like storylines you have to kind of wrap up to get everyone where they need to be. And like, no one is where they need to be. It's like, okay, like, I thought the Khaleesi war or whatever, they wrapped up way too fast. It was so unnatural. Excuse me. But it was like, okay, they have to. They just got to get everyone back there. And it is what it is. I mean, it's like, I understand that. But it was like, okay, but I forgave you, but then now you have to get back in the storytelling. And it was like, no, that rushing that they did, they're just going to rush all the way through the rest of this stuff. And just, some of the dumbest stuff. What's it called? The ballistas, ballistas. Yeah, those like big, like arrow shooty things that like took out a dragon, and then the dragon just takes out all the other ballistas. You just like, you guys are just making it up as you go. Nothing's consistent. There's no rules to follow. Godzilla and Dumb and Dumber 2 had a more cohesive plot. I bet I would have gotten more out of that than the final season of Game of Thrones. The Wake Down. With Jon at the wall, if the rest of the Starks were killed, someone could have sent assassins to take out Arya, which provokes her return. Just spitballing ideas. Yeah, like anything like plot related would have been interesting, And then like, there's just so much stuff that doesn't pay off. Like, you have all those wolves, right? And you think that's going to go somewhere, and it really doesn't. It just goes nowhere. And like, who are the children of the forest? Like, what was that all about? Like, why do these things happen that don't pay off? Like, I paid so close attention to them, and they just don't go anywhere. And it's like, you kind of realize after a while, like, oh, these really aren't, there's nothing happening here. Like, there was all the what's his name? Not Barath. Was it Baratheon? Yeah, the one king had all the bastards, and you're like, oh, where's this gonna go? Also nowhere. And it's like, what the fuck are all these plot lines that just don't pay off? Like, nothing gets wrapped up, and when it does, it's stupid. Like, it's I don't know. Maybe they're just bad writers, or they're too afraid, or maybe they're just counting too many checks to really give a shit. Maybe they live in an echo chamber where everyone just like congratulates themselves and they're surrounded by yes men. I don't know. But what I do know is that show fucking sucked. Sucked hard. Really hard. Islington Girl, it doesn't in the books either. The wolves. I wish it would. But whatever. Ascension Dildo. Book Arya Bravo story is incredibly dark, but fitting. They weren't going to put that on screen in these times, so they invented some crap. I mean, fine, but make it make sense. Make it have something to do with the story somewhere. Like, not that just that she has these skills and now she's helpful. Also, she's like full on in battle. She's still only like 14, 15. She's still like a young kid. Maybe she's a little older. I don't know how many years are supposed to happen. But still, it just seems weird to have Arya on the front lines, even if she is a badass assassin. I mean, she's just like a little chick, but whatever. And then the ending, too, like I was just thinking about that, was like when they finish it all up and they're like, oh, Jon, you've got to go back to the wall. And Jon's like, well, okay. Because all the other guys, all the all Khaleesi's army like want his head or whatever. And then Khaleesi's army leaves. It's like, all right, well, you don't have to listen to them then. You don't have to, like, they don't hold any power if the whole army that was going to enforce this thing is not there anymore. Like, and then what are you watching at the wall? There's nothing there. The wildlings are your friends, and there's no White Walkers to fight against. So, this is it's not like a round arc. Like, oh, he's back where he started. It's stupid. Fucking stupid. Godzillionaire wants to see a sequel where King's Landing is retrofitted with wheelchair ramps for Bran to get around. Why was Bran a warg? What was that about? How come that never paid off? That meant nothing. I thought he was going to warg into a dragon. No, he's like warging during the battle, and Bran's like, oh, it's all about me. And you're like, why is it all about you? Like, are you going to explain why it's all about you? Are you Bran the Builder? Is he you? Are you? No, we're not getting into any of that. It's like, what the fuck? How dare you do that to us? Why would you let us invest that much time? Oh, my goodness gracious. The Elite. Hello, The Elite. Worst final season ever. Yeah. Unparalleled in its horridness. Because now you can never go back and watch it. And you can't recommend anyone to go watch it. I was at a cigar shop a few weeks ago, and they were watching it and they were watching it. I'm like, why are you watching this? Like, why? Honestly, why? Like, you know where it goes. And if you don't know where it goes, then you're leading someone down a path where they're going to be immensely disappointed. So why would you put them through that? Don't watch this show, man. Like, do you want to just be tortured for 8 fucking seasons? Is that a experience you'd want to have again, or you'd want someone you know to have? I don't think I could ever watch it again, because even if I do enjoy it, it's going to be more disappointing because I'm like, damn it, this could have been so great. You know, like, I do love that world building, but guess what? Other people have built compelling fantasy worlds. It's not the only game in town. There's lots of other fantasy worlds where you can get lost in and you can have fun. You know, this is just one. Ugh. You know, that's why the whole thing is like, that's why I love YouTubers, you know, because people in Hollywood can't say this shit or won't say it or whatever. And the critics are too concerned about their access. So they just repeat what they're supposed to repeat. And nobody, you don't get the truth, which is, this sucks. And you insulted us and you took our money and gave us the finger. That's wrong. And the only people that I can come across who say it the way it really is are YouTubers. I'll see comedians who will talk about how, you know, it was disappointing that Game of Thrones was bad or whatever, but they won't get into it. Like, it's not necessarily like their interest, but they're not going to break it down. I mean, and then you have guys like Kevin Smith who are like, claim to love the sequel trilogy. It's like, you dick, really? You love this fucking empty garbage? Well, your taste sucks. Or you're a liar. Either one, I don't care. Not interested. And it's like, you have like this loud echo chamber and people just patting each other's selves on the back and no one saying the truth. The only people I see saying the truth as they see it, YouTubers. This is cutting edge to me. This is where I go to hear what I believe. Because I just feel like they're the only people without an agenda. They're here to entertain. And they're here to tell you what they really think. And it's insanely rare. And I don't know. That's why I love this community. That's why I love all you guys. Because you guys are here to listen and here to contribute. And it's like amazing. And we are free to say these things. And, you know, I authentically think we need to get them out. If you don't need to personally say it, I think you need to hear someone say it. Like, I know I do, especially when it's something that's so close to my heart. Like, watching Mauler's Star Wars videos was like some of the most cathartic like experiences I've had in a long time. Like I used to have like an earbud in while I was working, just listening to him like eviscerate The Last Jedi. And it was like, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing. Him going on hour after hour. I listened to every second of it. I loved it. It was like, finally, I live in, not anymore. I live in Austin, Texas now, but I lived in Hollywood, in the belly of the beast, where all these creatives are walking around and literally no one, all these people who write and make movies and act, no one is as insightful as I've heard these guys being. No one's saying anything like that. People might be off balance. They might not be interested. I don't hear anyone just ripping it to shreds, top to bottom, like it should be ripped to shreds. I don't hear it. And I was just like, this is insane. Like, I'm around all these creatives and none of them get it. How is that possible? You guys are the ones who make it. How do you not get it? It's because I don't know why. I have thoughts, I have theories, I have speculations as to why, but I don't actually care as to why. What I do care about is there are people out there that are saying it, that are observant. They are telling the fucking truth. And those are the people that I need to be around and I need to listen to. Because other than that, for me, it's an unsatisfying existence. And I'm grateful for the people that go out there and say that shit, who give and offer an insight and really get into it. Spend the time, are fearless, don't have anything riding on it, just tell you the truth. I fucking love it. I don't know, it's one of the most significant things that's happened to me, period. And I'm grateful, very grateful, because who wants to live in a world of lies? Who wants to live in bullshit? Who wants to just repeat what other people say just because that's what you're supposed to do? Fuck that, man. That's not why I became a creative. It was not to toe the line and do what I'm fucking told. No, it's the opposite. If I'm around a bunch of people who don't have the guts to be honest, I don't want to be around them. And the people who I do see have the guts to be honest are here on this channel, are on this platform. Gary, fucking Doomcock, Mauler, Critical Drinker, Vigilante Williamson. You know, everyone in that fucking community, Drunk 3PO, Ryan Cannell, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. These guys have balls, and their balls come from their truth, from being honest and being unafraid of it. And thank God, because it's in such rare quantity. It's frightening, man. It's concerning. The fact that the truth can't be told. Fuck that. And, you know, all this media stuff is insight into something greater, something more nefarious and insidious. And I think it's very meaningful to explore it and to learn about it and to critique it and talk about it, because it's through silence that the real bad stuff comes out. So thank you guys for being here, for listening to me rant about the things that I'm passionate about, because it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And you guys are an incredible, incredible group of people. And I'm very grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for watching, for contributing with your super chats and your chats and your just being here. It's fucking amazing. Oh, you guys are throwing some. All right. I was going to go, but I will read some of these chats because you guys are throwing some awesome shit at me. The Wake Down, could be wrong, but I believe it was Scorsese, whose wife has been an editor for basically his entire career, more like a partnership in film. I don't believe it's his wife. I think the woman's name is Thelma Schumacher. I think that's her name. But yes, I think that she has been his editor since his first movie, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken about that. It might have been somewhere along the line where they changed, but yeah, no, they've been a team ever since, which is pretty cool. And by the way, you never hear anything about that, you know, women in film. Her name never comes up because she's been around for too long and it breaks their narrative, but she's one of the best editors of all time. Shocking, right? Ascension Dildo. Arya's story in the books is all about the horrors of war and damage it does to young minds. Making her a kick-ass girl power snarky idol in later seasons was so fucking infuriating. Arg, I'm mad again. See? I got mad again too. It's still in us, man. It's still upsetting. And it is. It sucks. You're like, breaking those things is very hard to watch. It's very, very hard to watch. Thomas Bowman. I never watched anything before checking YouTube reviews. I've been able to miss out on Star Trek Discovery, Picard, Wanda and her dildo, and many others. I watched the latest season of Batwoman. So bad it's good. Yeah. No, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I don't have to watch like the Rise of Skywalker, and I can get the people that will just destroy it and decimate it. Like, countless hours have gone into EFAPs just is destroying just that film, but they destroy it. So it's like a service. It's like, thank God you guys do this. So I don't have to, and I only get to see it through a fun lens. Yeah. The Wake Down. That's how I felt watching old Jordan Peterson interviews. That's me too. I found him up through Rogan, and I was like, this guy's great. Love this guy. He's so smart and insightful and knowledgeable and fearless and saying what needs to be fucking said. It's like, yes, awesome. Manolo Rivera, Mauler was therapy. Mauler is therapy. He was therapy in Star Wars, and he still is with his critiques. He's so articulate and funny and knowledgeable. I wonder if he's ever going to put some skin in the game when it comes to writing, or if he has. I don't know. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. Check us out. Check me out again on Wednesday at 6 Eastern on this channel here. I think we're doing the Culture Crime Fighters, me and Vidge. And, of course, every Friday at 10 Eastern for the Cocktail Lounge. And when I get my fucking tools back, when I get my computer and everything back from the movers, I'll probably start putting out, videos and stuff, shorter videos. But thank you guys so much for watching. You're the greatest. I missed you all, and I'm very glad to have seen each and every one of you. So thank you so much for hanging out, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Have a great day.